Hi, and welcome to our podcast, Learning, Leading Now, where we talk all things education and Mobile County Public Schools. I'm your host, Director of Communication, Renee Phillips, and joining me today are two very, very special guests. We have Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho.
And Mrs. Claus.
Ho, ho, ho.
I didn't know she said that too. That's pretty awesome.
She can.
She can.
Mrs. Claus says whatever she likes.
She does. She runs the real show up there, right? You're just there on Christmas night, getting all the attention.
I'm getting ready for the big night, and she's actually handling the day-to-day.
Do you share cookies?
When she allows me to have some.
You know what they say, Santa's the head, but Mrs. Claus is the neck.
That's funny. And so you guys have had a wonderful last couple of days, Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus. We're always so lucky to have you guys join us with Mobile County Public Schools in December for Stuff the Bus. So how was it?
We had an amazing couple of days in Mobile. The weather was great. We had fabulous bus drivers from our transportation division drive us around to amazing schools. 54 different schools participated this year, and I think I speak for Santa when I say that the children were fabulous and so sweet. The employees were so dedicated and giving generously, and we appreciate every parent and every student who participated in Stuff the Bus. It was a very successful program this year to help students in need.
Go ahead, Santa.
Very generous, and what was most remarkable is I did not see one student that was on the naughty list.
Oh, that's really good.
That must be some kind of record.
I think this time of year they all know to behave.
Maybe so.
Maybe when they see Santa coming in,
the
too.
ones I met were all definitely on the nice list.
So they're going to have a good Christmas?
I think so. They had lots of requests.
What were their requests?
iPhones are very popular.
Uh-huh. What age do children start wanting those?
There didn't seem to be a bottom limit on that.
Kindergarten.
Elementary, we're asking for that as well. Lots of trucks this year. And, of course, PlayStation is always very popular.
Yeah, those are
We
fun.
have elves cranking those out as we speak.
Good for them. So I got to be an elf and travel around. And one of the things that they liked are these little skateboards. Did you see any of those? And you use your fingers and skateboard on the skateboards? They were popular.
I don't know if that's what I saw. I did hear a couple that wanted hoverboards. Probably the most unusual request was a banjo.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'd be interested to see. I'm going to have to check that tree out, see if he actually knows how to play.
Yeah.
I spoke to a mom today whose son wants a zero-turn lawnmower and a shed to store it in. And I thought, what an entrepreneurial young man that is. So
Yeah.
very pleased with that.
That's awesome.
I have a feeling that child will get that, right? It's
I
like,
hope
here you
so.
go. Here's the yard to practice in, right
the
out
elves
front.
are doing their best.
That's funny. And then those stuffed animals, those little
The
squishy head. What are
Squishmallows.
those called?
Squishmallows. Love those.
Yeah.
Love those.
Yeah, those were fun. I don't have elementary anymore. You have an elementary child, so
I do.
is
I
that
have
pretty?
a fifth grader. Yes, and
pretty popular?
She loves Squishmallows. Our lab also loves Squishmallows. So you
Uh-oh.
really have to keep them away from your puppy dogs.
And I have a college sophomore who still has a couple of Squishmallows.
Okay. I have two boys, so they're not really in our house. But I say that, but they still do like their stuffed animals.
Yeah.
So this was our 12th year to do Stuff the Bus, and this has been a phenomenal program that we've had. And for those of our listeners and viewers who may not know, we actually stuffed 2 buses full of Christmas toys and gifts for area children. And so it's our 12th year. This year we did it a little bit different in that we wanted to focus on those older kids who might get left out of the traditional angel trees, because we have a lot of students in Mobile County. One of the neat things about Stuff the Bus that I always love is students give the gifts and then their classmates may get them back, right? Like they know that they're going. And I think the kids get so into it because they know I'm helping my friends have a good Christmas, and they understand the importance and the joy of Christmas. But this year, I know Mike I'm not going to say your real name yet. Santa helped coordinate the effort by getting all of our schools. You did a great job, Santa. So
Thank
tell
you.
us this year, how did it go?
I think that is either tied or the record for the most schools we've had, at least since I've been involved. 54 plus central office. Had so many schools that we actually had to make a couple of special delivery pickups without the bus.
Yeah.
Because we just did not have enough time to get the bus everywhere. So, we knew this year it was going to be a little bit different, not only in the way we were doing it and what we were asking for, but the fact that Thanksgiving was so late. So we didn't necessarily hit our our record in terms of number of
We're bringing
toys.
about 6,000 almost.
But we were really good, and certainly far more than we received when I first started doing this 10 years ago.
Yeah. And one thing I noticed too, like sometimes there were fewer gifts, but better gifts. And I think some of that was due to the fact we were asking for more teenager gifts. And as I know, as a teenage mom, as you went through and as Joy is going through now with her son, teenager gifts are more expensive.
They are. I think VR headsets are very popular this year, and those are quite pricey, but fun to play with, fun to enjoy.
Yeah. And all things Bluetooth speakers,
yes.
makeup kits.
Lots of tech stuff, and that stuff costs money. So, yeah, it's different than just the Fisher Price or stuffed
Or
animal
Barbies.
or Barbies,
Yeah.
which we also got a lot of from our elementary schools.
Yeah, we did. And so tell us what we did. We worked with our social workers, and tell us about that.
Right. Our social services team kind of helped us come up with a list of things that teenagers might enjoy, and we shared that list with our high school and middle school principals to, please ask their students and families to consider donating that for these older students that often get overlooked with Christmas toy drives. So ask the middle schools and the high schools to do that. Elementary schools, we still, continue to bring toys for younger students. We want to continue that as well. And for the first year of doing that, I think everybody did a pretty good job. And certainly I think we had more toys for older students than we've had in the past.
Yeah, and that is so cool. And then our social workers went on the buses and they shopped for certain students that they know.
Right.
And I had identified, and we served our kids first, which was pretty
Santa
cool.
and Mrs. Claus's elves did a good job
They
of
sure
keeping the
did.
high school and middle school stuff separated from the elementary. So once the social services folks came on the bus, I think they were able to grab what they needed pretty quickly. And I think, I've seen over there where they have their stuff set up. They got lots of good stuff. And then everything that they didn't need for students within the system, we took to the Salvation Army. And certainly there is need throughout the community.
And it was neat going there. We had the students from Booker T. Washington, the LOTC students, that's their leadership training corps, and they helped us unload. They were fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they were having a good
faster
time.
than
And
Youthful energy.
Yes.
lots of heavy boxes, and they were showcased the engineering skills a little bit and finding ways to get the heavy stuff onto carts and into the warehouse.
Some engineering, and then they learned about the Salvation Army. And I think that's what's really cool about this project and lots of the other projects I know that you guys are a part of and that we get to see as part of the Office of Communication is we're not just teaching our kids the academics, we're teaching them to be good humans. And that's what I love, one of the many things I love about what we do. But would you say that's true?
Oh, yeah. I think service learning is so important. I remember I'm a Davidson graduate, and I remember being part of Junior Civitan, and even our teachers back then, so many years ago, would help us understand the importance of service learning and giving back to the community and finding ways to help others. And that's so important, especially this time of year.
That is cool. And I know, actually, I do want to acknowledge that there were 2 Santas going on our trip, and the other Santa had a good time as well, right, Santa?
Yes, I think he had a blast. He got most of the elementary schools on our route and enjoyed meeting the kids and sharing a few words of wisdom with them and reading a story or two.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that you were telling me that he even had some kids who were nonverbal got real excited and said his name.
Yes, at one of our schools, they brought a couple of students who they said very rarely speak and were nonverbal, and they wanted to talk to Santa. So it was a very special moment.
Yeah, they were talking. I heard there were tears.
Yes.
The teachers, not the students. The students were so happy.
Yep.
And then I asked Santa. He said he had a little tear too.
Yes, I don't doubt it. He hid it behind his glasses and his beard, but it was very touching.
So now I will reveal, if there are any children, cover their ears, because our Santa and Mrs. Claus are actually Mike Herndon. Tell us what you do for the school
Public
system.
Relations Specialist for Mobile County Public Schools.
And
Joy Mcgough, Special Projects Liaison for Mobile County Public Schools.
And then also our intern in the Office of Communication, Jordan Guyton, a graduate of BC Rain last year, was the other Santa Claus. So we had a lot of fun going around with them. And Joy, you get to do a lot of really cool things. And one Christmas related thing that you did was the Joy of Giving. Can you tell us about that?
Right. So about 4 years ago, one of our employees said, hey, let's start an employees care committee so that central office can participate in service projects and give back to the community and help our students directly. And so with the team in social services, every year we sponsor students. Each department and division at central office has the opportunity to tell us how many students they want to sponsor, and we ask that they budget about $100 per student, and we receive a wish list that student has written themselves of what they'd like for Christmas. And then the employees in that department and division pull their money together, they go shopping, and they buy specifically what that child wants. And so we can ensure that child is going to have a wonderful Christmas. The employees then wrap the gifts, and they're picked up by our distribution team, and then our social workers work with the child's guardian to make sure they get the gifts in time for Christmas. And so this program has been going on since 2020, and you can guess COVID was the impetus that started this program, but we've raised over $33,000 in 4 years.
Wow.
For 290 students. So,
Wow.
So we've been able to reach a lot of families and help them and make sure that children have, what they want for Christmas. Because even if families are going through a difficult time, we want to make sure the Christmas time is fun for the children and memorable and just enjoyable for the entire family.
We love it. We've done it every year in the Office of Communication, and we had a teenager this year, so the wants were tennis shoes and sweatshirts and all that. But it is neat to kind of put together that list and to go shopping and to know that we just pull a little bit of money together a piece and it makes somebody's Christmas.
Right. It's a team building activity for the departments. It helps them grow closer as coworkers, and then it's obviously wonderful for the children that we're able to reach. So
Yeah.
my child this year was an elementary student, but she was very into makeup and hair products, and so my daughter had some great advice about what to get this year for her, and we were able to pick out some cute little outfits. It was just,
Aw.
it was great fun.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so wonderful, the things that we can do when we pull. And that's kind of the Stuff the Bus thing. It's pulling all of our stuff together. And then when you hear the impact of 290 children over 4 years, that's really cool.
It's significant. It really is.
And we've been out and about. What else has been going on lately in the schools?
Well, I had the pleasure of going with my family to see the Grinch play at Mary G. Montgomery last Friday, and it was so well done. The costumes were amazing. The students were so talented. The sets were great. It was just a really fun night, and I love the way the teachers intentionally included lots of different students. They had theater students as actors. They had dance students, band students providing the music. They had, the choir. And then they even had students who had taken ceramics classes. They were selling their ceramics wares out in the auditorium lobby. And also the horticulture team was there selling really beautiful amaryllis flowers. So
We love their horticulture program.
they're amazing. and the ceramic students were awesome. I was able to pick up a deviled egg plate that I treasure. So it was amazing to see the talents of all those students exhibited at MGM last Friday.
So you're a deviled egg maker?
Oh, yes.
Me too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love them.
Do you have a secret recipe?
Just Duke's mayonnaise, a little mustard, and sweet salad cubes. It has to be the sweet salad cubes. You can't use any old pickle relish.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
I do mustard, and some people think that mustard is wrong, but I like a little bit of mustard in
I like
mine.
a little mustard. It balances.
Yeah, that's cool. But that's a neat way to incorporate all of the different kids, all the
was.
different groups.
It was.
To do it. I saw pictures on social media, and there were some great. The Grinch looked great.
The Grinch was amazing. And Max the dog was my favorite character, I think.
Was it a real dog?
No, but it was. And Max had no lines. Max was just the facial expressions were right on point. The dancing was on point. It was just really fun.
Yeah. Now, MCPSS TV, we get to go out during this time of year and film a lot of students. And so we have our Sounds of the Season. And I know, Mike, you're putting those up on social media. So how can people listen to those and see those?
Yeah, just keep an eye on our Facebook page. We're putting up 1 or 2 a day between now and Christmas, and maybe even a little ways after Christmas. Lots of different chorus groups from elementary all the way up to high school. Just for did a couple, the cute little preschoolers. So lots of different holiday music that you can see on our Facebook page.
So probably from serious to actually really good singing, right? Even though, or the fun. I love little kids when they sing. Yeah, and that is a good time to plug our MCPSS TV, because we do run it on our 24-hour channel, which is
Right.
on Comcast, AT&T Uverse, MediaCom, Roku, and we have a YouTube channel, MCPSS TV on YouTube. So it's a great way to show our students and share that holiday spirit.
Yep, and lots of good content on there year round, so not just at Christmas time.
Yeah, like our podcast.
Yes,
So
and
hopefully,
homeroom
Yeah.
and basketball games and
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
basketball and volleyball and football, of course. But yeah, that's been fun. And I know we just had a big signing day in the district with mostly the football. The football's gotten so early.
Well, they have the early signing period now,
Mm-hmm.
so that's why we have this whole period before Christmas, because back in the day it was all in February, and we will still have signing day in February. But now a lot of particularly the prospects going to bigger colleges end up signing early, and we had I think 13 that day, and we've had several more in the days since. On the day itself was just football, but we've had some softball and volleyball since then as well. Of the football players, I think we had 3 going to what we now call the Power 4 conferences. We had an
I know we've got an
Alabama,
Alabama Roll Tide.
we
We
had
got
a
Colorado.
and an Arkansas. So it's a pretty good year for
Yeah.
Mobile County Public Schools.
We had a
student
couple Alabama
athletes.
State, didn't we? We had
Alabama
some
State, Louisiana Lafayette had
Yeah.
several signees. So yeah, a good group.
Yeah, that's exciting. And then, Joy, you probably get this question a lot. Special projects liaison. What does that mean? It sounds so fun.
Well, it is fun. There's so much going on in our district that's exciting, and I work with Mr. Threadgill, our superintendent, and Dr. Lakeisha Brackens, our deputy superintendent, to do projects that sort of fall in between what other divisions do. One of the projects that I've been working on for the past 2 years is the K-12 capital grants. Our state legislature passed a bill that allowed extra funding to go to schools and give schools input on how the funding was spent. So the Lieutenant Governor's office administers the funds, and in 2023, 5 of our schools received over $5 million. That includes Mary B. Austin's new multipurpose building, and Orchard's interior renovation. Both of those projects are going to be on this upcoming board agenda. They've selected the general contractor, so the work can start soon. And we also, with that funding, we renovated the library at Forest Hill, and we provided additional fencing and security measures at Lott Middle and Spencer Westlawn Elementary. So that was our 2023 round of funding. Now we've gotten our funding for 2024. It's going to be $1.8 million, which we're so grateful to have.
awesome.
Yeah, and it's going to go to 16 different schools. So we're going to do field house upgrades at Baker and Citronelle. We're going to do an auditorium upgrade at Bryant High School, and then several library upgrades, which the schools are really excited about, new and innovative ways to use their media centers. And that funding is going to Davis, Dawes, St. Elmo, and Whitley elementary schools. We're also going to have some additional security funding for Collier, John Will, and Augusta Evans. That'll be fencing, just to add another layer of security for the school. And then we're going to do PE and playground improvements at Breitling, Causey, and Callahan, which is they're very excited about. We've got some workshop improvements at Faulkner Career Tech, and we've got a new front desk going in at O'Rourke. And then Orchard is going to have some cafeteria upgrades. So we're very excited for all those schools. Really well thought out ways to spend the money, things that will benefit the students on a daily basis and make the learning environment much better.
And all over the county.
Yeah, all over the county, exactly. So everybody's getting, everybody from all 4 corners is getting a little piece of the money, and we're just so happy for them and thankful for the state for providing this.
Because the state has it, but then we have to actually apply for the grants to get the money in Mobile County.
Exactly. So, so we go through a needs assessment. Mr. Threadgill decides which projects can move forward to the state level, and then I work with the schools to complete their applications and collect documentation, get letters of support from our local legislators, and then we submit the applications for review. This year, I think we submitted about 40 applications and 16 were actually approved. So anyway, it's always
good.
Yeah, it's always great to see progress taking place in our schools as far as on the construction side of things.
Yeah, and I know Orchard is excited.
Oh, yeah.
To get their repairs, and I know Mary B. Austin is because they've
Right.
been asking for that. It's a gym, right? A multi-purpose building.
It is, and people may not know PE is actually mandated by the state. We're required for students to have PE every day, especially elementary and middle school students. High school, it's a little bit different. They have to earn a PE credit, but we need the facilities for students to complete that important PE course and for them to get exercise and enjoy being together.
Yeah. I have two that went through Mary B. Austin. They loved it. But they had to do all their PE outside.
Right,
And
right.
so when it rained, it was interesting or hot or too cold. But they made the best of it. But I
That's
know they're
right.
going to be super excited to get the.
They will. They definitely deserve it. But it's really hard with Mobile's weather to try to have PE outside all the time. It just doesn't work. So
Yeah, but they make it work. That's what our people do. They
that's
make
right.
it work.
They make it work. That's right. But we want to make it easier for them.
Yeah, well, that's cool. So the board will vote on that, and then construction will start.
Right.
And then we'll start on the other round of projects will be a little further out.
Right. I think they're actually starting the architectural selection this board meeting for the Citronelle Fieldhouse. So we're
Okay.
excited for the folks in Citronelle to have that for their athletic teams.
Okay. And you do a lot of things. I know we work together on the career fair, which will be April 30th this year. It's a
yes.
little early or late. We've tried different times, so I think that'll be a good date. April 30th. We'll let our listeners know more about that. But if you want a job, we've got them advertised on mcpss.com or come visit us at the convention center on that day. And we've been signing up 90 to 150 on the spot and dozens of more to come back.
Yeah, we love for people to join our team. We love for people to share in the benefits of what it is to work here. It's a fabulous place to work.
Yeah. So,
And that's a good place to see it all under one roof.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right.
With a different booth for every school
It's a one-stop shop.
and departments.
yeah, 'cause it was a cool idea. Our HR people go out in a lot of places, but there we have each school has a booth, the departments have a booth, and we walk around. I know it's a lot of fun for Joy's the logistics person. She is the head of she can do logistics on anything, and that's your gig, right? You like that?
I love making a plan and following through with the plan and seeing the plan take place. That's my favorite.
That's awesome. And the other thing, recently we had our national board certified teachers. Now we've got dozens of those in Mobile County Public Schools, 15 new ones this year. And I know y'all have heard about that, but that's a process that teachers go through. It takes about 2 years. They have to video themselves teaching, watch it, learn from it, critique it, improve their practice, meet with other teachers. Sounds very nerve-wracking.
It does, but how amazing that we have so many teachers who've gone through this process
Yeah.
to show what they know.
Yeah.
And the ones that I've talked to talk about just the process of self-assessment and critiquing what you're doing being such a valuable part of that process, even, the certification aside. Of course, that's what they're working toward, but that's a big part of the process and just helps you become better at what you do. And that's why they're doing this, is to become the best teachers they can be.
I think it does. We were interviewing Miss Kumonis at Cranford Burns, and she's a science teacher. So Frances Conaway from MCPSS TV and I were there, and we learned a little bit about DNA and RNA. I still don't understand science, but it was interesting. But that's one thing she said, is that she's very grateful for the district and the supports that Mobile County Public Schools provides so that teachers can do this. I know Danette Ballard has done a great job kind of pulling them together. She said they had cohorts where they could learn from each other and get that support and bounce ideas off of. And so I think that's really cool. And it's recognized by nationwide and by the state as being one of the top PDs for teachers, and these are considered some of the best teachers, and the state gives them a stipend. But it was neat, and when they do it at the Cypress Auditorium, we give them a star on the wall. But it was neat how she said that she felt very supported by Mobile County Public Schools.
That's amazing.
And then we went to see Miss Squires at Mary B. Austin. She was teaching English. She does not like doing the TV interviews, but she did a fantastic job, I must say.
Good for her.
She was funny. And I didn't realize this. She told me my son had her for 5th grade. And apparently, because he tells me nothing, I'm sure you guys can relate being parents.
Oh, yeah.
That they had an exercise where they had to write a letter to a former teacher that influenced them. So she told me she got a letter from my son last year,
Aw,
like
that's nice.
unexpected. He hadn't had her in 2 years.
Sweet.
And she says she's going to text it to me. Because now I'm curious. I'm going to go home and ask him, like, did you write Miss Squires a letter? But
Hopefully there won't be too many redacted
I know.
redactions.
I'm going to check his grammar on it. But yeah, but I think that's sweet, like to be that teacher. And she said that she just keeps it at home, and just how special that is to make that impact. And a testament to our teachers that they're trying to better themselves, but they're making these impacts on our kids every single day.
Every day.
Every day.
And those lasting impacts. So
Absolutely.
if you had a teacher you were writing a letter to, could you think of one?
I show my age. Mine has unfortunately passed, but yeah, I had an English teacher in high school that really kind of set me on the path of, first working in newspapers and then working in public relations. And she'd definitely be the one for me.
Isn't that cool?
Mine has passed too. Mr. Smith at Davidson. He was amazing. I had him all 4 years for yearbook and newspaper, and he really, really inspired me in a lot of ways. And I started my career in marketing and then the newspaper business, and a lot of that was due to him. And he actually. He sent me home with my first computer. He loaned me a computer one summer.
How big was it?
It was big, Renee. It was huge. It took up my whole desk in my
You
room.
mean it didn't fit in your palm of your hand?
It did not. It was huge. But he knew that we didn't have a computer at home, and so he loaned me one so I could become familiar with that. And just an amazing man, and just very giving, and really saw something in me that I did not see in myself at that time.
That's so cool. So mine would be either Miss Fanning, my AP English teacher, who taught us all of the Canterbury Tales prologue, won that opera with the sure suite. Anyway, or also Miss Clough, my yearbook teacher. And the fun thing is I'm Facebook friends with both of them.
Oh, wow.
So isn't that kind of cool how
That's
it comes
amazing.
around, and then one day you can be their Facebook friends, maybe. Yeah.
I will say I had a couple of football coaches that would probably be in that group too, both of whom I'm Facebook friends with as well. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Well, let me shout out Charlotte Griffin at Davidson. I got to see her maybe a year ago or
Taught
so.
both of my kids.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Miss Griffin was my 9th grade English teacher. Just amazing, and it was a delight to see her about a year ago, and she's still teaching. So really, really inspired by her as well.
So if y'all are listening, we love you.
We do. We love you all.
And so many great ones. And I think that's what we get to see. We're not educators ourselves, but being in the schools a lot, we get to see these cool impacts that teachers are making. And coaches.
And through our kids as well.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's
Especially
true.
through our kids.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Because I didn't realize that he had done that. But I'm going to have to ask him more questions, it seems, because we don't get a lot.
What's going on at school today?
Yeah, we
Nothing.
get a lot of random facts about the world and science and history and soccer. So lots
I had one that liked to share random scientific facts, and then the other that just didn't say much at all. But she was usually headed to swim practice. So
yeah.
we'll give
And
her
now
a break.
is she the actual scientist now, the engineer?
She has a chemistry degree and is
See?
working in a
Wow.
chemistry lab. Yes.
Wow.
So,
There you go. Exciting things, huh?
Yes.
Yes. Well, thank you. Anything else? Well, thanks for what you do in the school system, Joy. We
I'm just so
appreciate
thankful to
it.
be here. I'm just so thankful to be able to be part of Team MCPSS.
Yeah. And Mike, or any last words as Santa and Mrs. Claus?
Be good, kids.
We'll see you next year.
See?
You're already making that list.
And thank you for your generous donation.
Absolutely.
Yes.
They will go to good use, and I'm sure lots of kids within the system and the community will have a much happier Christmas as a result.
That's true. That's true. Many, many smiles on many, many faces due to Team MCPSS.
It's always a fun week.
All right. Let's say ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho,
Ho,
ho, ho. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all of that.
Happy holidays, everyone.
We'll catch you next time on Learning, Leading Now.